I'm live too. So
I just have to fix one thing on here and I'll be ready.
Okay. I've been all clever.
Have you now?
I have. There's Sandy. What's that on here? Sandy Cross raw veg with homemade hummus. Is that a message?
I have to click one thing to make sure everything's right, and then I'll have it. We should be almost there.
Kelly.
And I did research.
Ooh. Hang on.
I did bad research.
You did bad research. I don't know where it is, darling. Hi, Chris. Hi, Madge. I was just talking about you. Hi, Leanne. How you doing, babes?
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, so
just get my setup ready to go in case I need to block someone, but I know I've got people that'll do that, but
yeah.
I also like to make sure everything looks right on here, so I think we're all good to go. Did you update? Yeah. I just got an update notice on my eCam. Did you get an update on yours?
Yes, but I didn't do it because I was not wanting to do it now. For some reason my iPad went all my MacBook went all black and it wouldn't recognise the charger, and it was just like, no! I plugged it in about 2 hours ago so it would be fully charged, and it was like 1%.
I got Madge, Suzanne, Bonnie, Karen, and Debs. Howdy, and Carol. Hello.
Hi, I've got Karen. Kelly C says hi to you.
Hello.
Hi, Cor. Yeah. So I think you've posted a message on your screen area. I've kind of dragged it off the screen, but it's about hummus. Is that the one you mean? Hi, Kate, sweetheart.
Hummus. We call it hummus here. You guys call it hummus?
Hummus.
All right, I emailed you the link to the new menu. Did you get it?
I did, and I have actually put it in the description of this chat.
Okay, wonderful.
I should actually see if I can. Where's the thing where I tools? No, window, view. Oh, for some reason, overlays. It's called an overlay, isn't it? Overlay, new text overlay. Aha! Okay. Oh no, it's opening. It's opening.
Yep.
It's come on, here, right.
Okay, so I just put it up in my little chat area, so if anybody wants to download that first, you guys have a few minutes, you can do that. And then I changed it up a little bit. It's a kind of a different menu this time around, so it should be fun.
Yeah, it looks fun.
I did some bad research, so we can do that. Hi, Deborah. I say bad research because it's not real research. So to kick things off, I don't know how many of you watch TV. I don't. And I'm not a TV watcher, nor am I a YouTube watcher. I just don't spend my time entertaining myself that way. But I certainly respect all of those of you who come and join us and do this. I certainly spend a lot more time in front of the screen making videos than I do consuming them, although I have watched enough fishing videos here because I wanted to learn how to, catch fish the best in my area of the world. So I've been watching some experts and do some things, and watched to the point that today we had a pharmaceutical rep in. Actually, no, she wasn't a pharmaceutical rep. It was a lab rep, and they came in to talk about some new lab items, and she was wearing these glittery earrings that looked like gold fishing spoons. And I said, I really can't focus because your earrings look too much like fishing lures to me. She said, all right, every man that I see says that to me about these earrings. I said, well, they look like gold fishing spoons. They call them spoons. They're curved, and I said, I just need to put a hook on them. If you'll just let me have one of those, I'll be happy.
Oh my goodness me!
Got a pretty good laugh at it. So that just tells you I have been doing some research. Been trying to work with Abby. Whenever she casts, she always ends up with a snarl. So I spend about half the time we're out fishing trying to unsnarl her reel. So I got her all set up to practice in the pool out here, but it was real cold the last couple of days, and it finally warmed up yesterday a little bit. So maybe tonight she'll get a chance to do a little bit of practicing if she's out and about. I know they just left to go somewhere. But so did a little research. But if you watch TV and you know Luke Perry passed away, right? Wasn't that his name?
Yes.
And so that followed some articles that I read that the incidence of heart attacks in people under 40 is on the rise.
Oh my goodness.
And then I asked myself, and of course, and they're trying to figure out why, and they're blaming it on, what do you think they're blaming it on? They're blaming it on cocaine and marijuana. They're blaming it on that. They're not blaming it on the fact that we are so fat now that we're seeing morbid obesity in 20-year-olds. And even I had one in, I mentioned not too long ago, I had one in that was 385 pounds. He was 17. Okay. So, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Not 3. He was 285, excuse me. He was 285, but he was still, his body mass index was still way over 40. But let me just tell you what, I said, this can't be right. I don't think that, I think that we just ignore that, we continue to ignore the problem that our diets are killing us. And even though we're doing, we get smarter with our ability to help people once they've had a heart attack, where we're completely missing the whole picture here is that we can prevent all this. It's sort of like the old story. Do you put a fence at the top of the cliff, or do you put an ambulance at the bottom? Which makes more sense, right? You put the fence up at the top, right? So you don't need the ambulance at the bottom. And so I decided to do some looking around and see if I could find out if there was a correlation, because they're saying the incidence of heart attacks in people in the United, and this was U.S., and I think that if you look at what's going on in the U.S., it's probably pretty much the same happening in most Western countries, right? Because we're all sort of following the same pattern of increasing the amount of animal products that we consume. Yeah. So I wanted to see if there was an increase of 2% or more of the amount of animal products that we're consuming every year. And so I thought I would share that research, or the bad science that I did today looking for this information, because I'm doing it between patients, and I'm making up the new menu and all that kind of stuff, and thinking, okay, what can I find? And I found some stuff. So anyway, that's what I've got for you this morning, or this evening, plus our menu. So we can jump right in whenever you're ready.
Excellent. I'm just going to say hi to some people, because we've got some people to come on. Hi, Sika. Hi, Debs. Yes, I accidentally pressed the wrong button and was Skyping you instead of Dr. G. Sika has lost 13 pounds.
Awesome.
Whoa! That's almost a stone. Whoop, whoop. Sorry, I had to get that in there. I know how you love it when I talk in stones. Hi, Carrie. Who else have I missed? Mary Beth. Hello. Kate. Hello. Jackie. Hi. So, hello, lovelies. Are you ready for a menu? By the way, this here, look, that you can actually see. Look. Woo! That is the link for the menu. Okay.
Oh, the link? Okay, yep.
So
if you haven't downloaded the menu and you want to download it, you've got time. We can do the little bad research first.
Yeah.
So
it's in the comments
article,
too. On you go. Let's hear it. Dying to hear it.
So the first part of this is, and I didn't really make this in a format that I could actually just stick on the screen. So I'll talk through this first part here.
Okay,
this article that I read today. A new study on heart attack rates has another grim reminder that the young are far from invincible and a lot more vulnerable than they used to be. Heart attack rates are rising for adults under 40. Researchers found that after comparing data of heart attack survivors ages 41 to 50 with those who were 40 and younger, and they're saying that the proportion of heart attack patients under 40 has been climbing 2% every year for the last 10 years. According to something that was recently released, or is slated for release, to the American College of Cardiology at their annual scientific session later this month. And they tried to unearth the risk factors and compared to older folks, and what they decided basically is that it was due to marijuana and cocaine and even and despite the fact they drank less alcohol. And this is an interesting statement by a Dr. Ron Blankstein. He says, "It seems that we're moving in the wrong direction." I just love that quote. It seems that we're moving in the wrong direction. Here we are in this epidemic of obesity and heart disease and hypertension and stroke, and this world-renowned cardiologist, a Harvard Medical School professor and preventive cardiologist at Brigham and Women's Hospital, he says, quote, "It seems that we are moving in the wrong direction."
You reckon?
It's a huge understatement. I mean, I just had to stop, and when I read that, I said, yeah, you think so? And then he goes on to say, "It was once incredibly rare to see heart attack of patients under 40, but some heart patients coming into ERs now are in their 20s and early 30s." They examined patient treatment information for over 2,000 people hospitalized from 2006 to 2016. And although their heart attack patients were younger, they had the same risk of subsequent death from a repeat heart attack as patients in their 40s. And this goes on. It says evidence stroke rates are also climbing. And the authors are finding that there are fewer heart attacks happening overall in America thanks to statins and less smoking. So we're putting people on more people. We are getting more people on drugs. Okay. So overall we're seeing less heart attacks. But what's happening is the young people aren't coming in. See, we're not getting young people in to find that they've got these high lipids and bad lipid profiles, and we're not able to get – there are no guidelines that says somebody that's in their 20s or 30s should come in and get routine labs. There are no guidelines that say to do that, right? So there's no reason for us to find these people. They're not even being told to come in for their first annual exam till they're 40. But yet heart attacks because – they're damaging their vascular system when they're in their teens and 20s to the point where they're setting themselves up for a heart attack long before they would even meet any of our screening guidelines. So it just goes on to say that, okay, because we are treating more people with bad lipids, then he goes on to say it all comes back to prevention. Many people think a heart attack is destined to happen, but the vast majority could be prevented with earlier detection of the disease and aggressive lifestyle changes and management of other risk factors. So he's kind of, this reminds me of, now I don't know that this is true, but what this reminds me of is a person who's doing research who's probably being funded somehow by one of those big groups, the dairy group or the cattlemen's groups or the poultry producer. These big they fund the research, and the reason they're paying for the research is they want to control what gets published and what doesn't, right? So here's a person who's probably getting some money from research from one of these groups and wants to be real careful about what he says because he doesn't want his funding to dry up, is what it sounds like. And do I know that's true? No, I don't. And I don't want to make any accusations.
But it sounds so pussyfooty, doesn't it?
To me, right?
He's just pussyfooting around it.
He advises,
let's blame it on drugs. All obese people are snorting cocaine, are they?
It's not the fact that we're increasing. Well, and I want to get ahead of myself with my bad research today. All right.
Okay.
He advises a good diet, exercise, avoid tobacco, and swear off cocaine and marijuana because they're not necessarily good for your heart. That's a quote. He's saying cocaine and marijuana, you should swear them off because they're not necessarily good for your heart. I just love this article because, I mean, you can't get more indeterminate about the whole thing than to say cocaine's not necessarily good for your heart. Maybe you should eat better, All right. So I'm looking at that number, 2% a year increase in people under 40. So the first thing I wanted to say was, okay, I want to look at countries and see how much animal, and I was able to find complete list of animal products consumed in pounds per capita. Pounds of animal products per person per year. And I'm going to actually have to put this up on the chart here so you guys can look at it. This is in the world. How much meat people, and by meat, this meant not just beef.
Can you email it to me? Is it in text or is it a picture?
It's a picture. You're going to have to either look on my channel on your.
Okay.
You have your other thing you can look
Yeah,
at.
I'll do that.
But the United States and Australia. Now this is just an overall comparison of how much meat we eat. And some of this you're going to say, okay, well, the richer countries are eating more meat because they can afford it and it's more expensive. Or you can say the richer countries, they just are eating more meat. But then you look right in the middle of the list of, say, all right, the top two are Australia and the United States. We each eat per capita almost 200 pounds, 198 pounds of meat a year per person. Australia is slightly ahead at 198.87. The U.S. is next, 198.51. Then you drop down to Argentina, 190.89, Israel 189, Brazil 172, Uruguay, New Zealand 160, Canada 152. We eat in the United States almost 50 pounds of meat a year more than Canadians do.
Wow.
And it's not like we're that much richer than Canadian individuals. I mean, there might be more Canadian people are very well off. And then next is, and unfortunately they lump all the European Union countries together. So I don't know where France is as compared to the UK, and I really wanted to look at that data too. But then you come down to countries where the incidence of heart disease is so much lower. They only eat, on average, as a nation, 78.65 pounds of meat a year. We eat 120 pounds of meat a year more than the Japanese. And then we wonder why the incidence of heart disease is so high here. And then you go down to, Haiti, Pakistan, Indonesia. These places, they don't see heart disease like we do.
No.
Let's see if I can find. In India, all the way down to just 7 pounds per year. And they eat almost completely an animal-based diet, a plant-based diet in these countries, except for, I'm sure, the larger cities. And they don't see the heart disease, and they don't see the diabetes, they don't see the stroke, they don't see the autoimmune diseases that we have here. I wonder why.
No.
I'm just going to say, I wonder why, and act like, you know what it is? It's because they don't use as much cocaine there. That must be it.
When I lived in Indonesia, I didn't see any cocaine there at all.
Wow, that must be why they're healthier. Okay, so I have another, here's another thing I want to throw up on here.
Or any obesity, actually, either.
Here's another little chart. Now, this is all the way back in 2004. So the study that said that we were increasing in heart attacks and stroke by 2% a year in people under 40 in the U.S., that study began in the year 2006 and went to 2016. So this little chart here shows milk consumption per capita. And you can see the darker the green, the higher the consumption, and that's milk equivalent, not just milk. So it would be dairy products. Okay, so they used in this, what they looked at was dairy and milk combined. But you see the same countries like Argentina, U.S., Australia, and New Zealand, and then the northern and most of the European countries. Super high, greater than 300 kilograms per year per capita of milk equivalent. And then you look at China and Japan, and you look at poorer countries where they don't have the heart disease. They don't use dairy. They're not eating dairy products in these countries. Now, you could say, again, well, it's because they can't afford it, but I can also say they have lower incidence of these diseases. Yeah. Okay, so here's where I thought it got a little bit interesting. I pulled up and I looked at milk consumption and how that's changed from 2012 to 2016. I found this. We're actually drinking about the same amount of milk over the last 5 years. Everybody's drinking about the same amount of milk over the last 5 years. That really hasn't changed. So milk's not the problem. Okay? Right. So then I thought, well, let's look at butter. And you can see New Zealand, and I know you're going to have to just listen or look on another device. But New Zealand, it's amazing. In 2012, they were averaging 4.7 kilograms of butter per person. In 2017, 5.9. That's like a 35% increase in butter consumption over that 5-year period, 6-year period, 5-year period. The same is almost true for Australia. The United States, we didn't increase very much. We went from 2.5 to 2.6. We were already eating a lot of butter. So maybe butter's not the cause, but Canadians are eating a lot more butter. They went from 2.8 to 3.3 kilograms of butter per person. Japan, 0.6 to 0.56. They've actually decreased butter consumption in Japan over that 5-year period. Now let's go to cheese. I found cheese really interesting.
Oh, I bet you did.
Because at the top of the list of cheese consumption, I thought for sure the U.S. would be there. It's Europeans, and I'd love to see that stratified out to see who's eating the most cheese in Europe, but it just lumps all Europeans. So the average European in 2012 was eating a little over 17 kilograms of cheese a year, and now it's 18.1, or it was in 2017. In the U.S., we went from 15.2, and we're number 2 on the list, from 15.2 to 16.9. Canada from 11.4 to 13.7. And just in the last year alone, from 2016 to 2017, Canadians increased their cheese consumption by almost 10%. And then you go all the way down to the bottom of the list. And again, I look at the Japanese. They were only eating 2.2 kilograms of cheese per year per person in 2012 and to 2.5 in 2017. They're eating like 2.5 kilos. You and I, our countries, we're eating 16 to 18 kilos. And we're thinking that the cause of the increase heart disease in people under 40 is due to cocaine. They're saying it's cocaine and marijuana. When you look at our cheese and animal, the consumption of these products is going up like skyrocketing. And we're telling people you need to stay away from cocaine and marijuana because it's probably not heart healthy. They can't even come out and say we're eating too much animal products.
No.
We got to cut down on this stuff.
No.
The research is out there all over the place. You can find this stuff anywhere. This is by no means any kind of research level stuff. I just did a hunt around on the internet to see what I could find from what looked like reputable sources. And I have no reason to believe that this stuff is not true. Look, we're seeing more. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not being funded by any big animal companies, animal groups. I'm not being funded by the dairy producers.
I think they'd want their money back if you were.
I'm going to tell you the truth. The truth is we're seeing 2% more heart attacks and strokes in people in the United States under 40 because we're eating more and more and more animal products. In fact, we're telling people to eat more because we're telling them it's healthy. So it's like we see a fire and we're telling people grab that can of gasoline because if you throw it enough on there, it probably will put the fire out. We're telling people to do keto. We're telling people to eat more of this stuff and to cut the carbs. We absolutely have lost our minds.
I know.
In this whole thing. And anyway, so there you go. I had my fun.
Yeah, that is absolutely crazy. Hi, Wonder Woman. Yeah, it's just like, I bet if you put the graph for all the countries of heart disease, I bet it would mirror the whole meat product.
It does. And in some of the books that in some of the research articles and some of the books that I've mentioned that you read, like the Proteinaholic, I think it does, How to Reverse and Prevent Heart Disease by Dr. Esselstyn, I think they do. I think they show that relationship. The China study does it the best. It's a great book to read. They've got a newly revised edition that just came out a couple of years ago, Dr. Campbell, and it's the one that is the largest epidemiological study that's been done in the history of the world, and it looked at people basically in China. And the reason it's so good is because you're looking at a population of people that genetically are very similar in many different geographical areas. So they're genetically very similar in the cities and in the farms, right?
Yeah.
And so the main difference is dietary, what they eat, and you can see in certain parts of China they eat different kinds of animal products and different quantities versus mostly agrarian, mostly rice, that kind of thing in the more rural areas.
Yeah.
And the incidence of cancers will be 200 to 300 times higher. The incidence of heart disease and diabetes hundreds of times higher in the areas where they're eating the meats and animal products, okay, and I keep throwing in the dairy and the eggs and all that, as opposed to the areas where they eat basically like they do in Japan, especially the southern island of Japan, where they eat almost completely yams with very little piece of fish every once in a while, where they see the highest percentage of centenarians in the world. Yeah. These people, you look at the China study, and it's evidence that proves absolutely why you're looking at me and why I am so much healthier today than I was a year ago by making that change, to the point where people think they're not sure if I'm even the same person anymore. I've had people say, I thought I was going to see Dr. Gilmore today. Like, well, sorry, you got me instead, and just go on with it. And wait a minute, you are Dr. Gilmore. What happened to you? Yeah, it's me. Funny. I changed everything. I changed what I ate. Well, are you doing that keto? No. Are you exercising? Can't exercise. Hurt my neck. I can't do that. See?
Yeah.
Anyway, so there you go. So we can talk about the menu. If you want to throw some stuff in, it's your turn. I got to rant a little bit. It's just this whole thing, the way they're hiding it. They don't want to come out and say this is it, but they know it is. And to me, it's such deceit.
It is.
They know these scientists are not stupid people. They know what's causing the increase. And what are they saying? You probably should stay away from cocaine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, of course you should stay away, but that's not what's causing an increase of heart attack and stroke by 2% a year every year for the last 10 years.
And that wouldn't cause obesity either, because you lose your appetite. They don't eat anything when they're having cocaine. So they're like little skinny bean poles, the cocaine lot. It's just like, I mean, you see loads of things on YouTube, kind of people getting on there saying, we could stop heart disease tomorrow, and it's, this is what the government isn't telling you, and it's a big conspiracy, all kind of drama. I've seen quite a few of those, and they do the same thing about, cancers and all sorts of things, and it's just like, some people are reporting it, but then I don't know if people think that that's fake news, or if people just don't want to change their ways and they don't want to hear it, but
no, people don't want to change, and they don't want to hear it. No, that's why I am actually losing viewers. I'm losing subscribers on this channel.
Really?
The more of these talks that we do, the more people unsubscribe from this particular channel.
Really?
They don't want to hear this content. They either don't believe it, they don't want to be bored with it, they don't want to be bothered with it. And that's why most people don't really start understanding and learning how much of an impact diet plays on our health in general until they've had some kind of event, or they realize they're sick, or they become diagnosed with something, or they're on so many pills they're looking for something different. Why am I on all these medicines? I'm bringing people in I'm bringing people back in about every day. Yeah, your LDL cholesterol was 180, Either you got to I had a fella, he was 6 weeks ago, his LDL was 180, and he said he was going to make all these changes. I had him read the book. I said, go read the book. I won't start, and I'll give you a chance. You come back in 6 weeks. I rechecked his labs. He was within 1 point of the same LDL that he had 6 weeks earlier. And when I was talking with him, I asked him specifically, well, now what? Well, I'm not eating any more red meat. I said, okay, well, that's a start. What else? Well, that's really the main change. I said, so you're still eating the pork? Well, yeah, just not as much. And he'd actually lost 6 pounds. Okay. But he was still eating the dairy. He was still eating the eggs. He was still eating the chicken. In fact, he probably had made up for the decreased beef with increased other meats.
Yeah.
He didn't get it. I think he really tried. I think he really, really tried.
Yeah.
So today, I put him on 20 milligrams of Crestor, rosuvastatin, and that's it. You're on the medicine, pal. Because until you figure it out that you really can't eat the animal products and expect to have lower cholesterol, and look, they're always genetic. There are some people that can eat all of this stuff they want and it does not affect them. There are some people that have genetic differences where they really can eat anything they want and their body just doesn't handle, their body handles the lipids differently. But that's not the other 98% of us, okay?
Yeah.
And just like there's a small percentage of people that no matter what they eat, they're going to have high bad cholesterol because their body is going to just make it, okay? But again, that's not the vast majority of us. The vast majority of us fall into this category that we are what we eat, and the more animal products that we consume, the sicker we're going to be, right?
Yeah.
So the epidemic isn't being caused by this small percentage of people. It's being caused by the vast majority of us that are eating wrong. Yes, ma'am. You're back? Okay. You guys went somewhere? All right. The DW has made an appearance. Hello.
Hey! How you doing?
Hi, good. How are you? Happy late birthday.
Thank you.
Yes, happy late birthday. Yes, yes.
Yes, it was my birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday. 29 again, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I haven't aged. It's like Groundhog Day when it comes to my birthday. I'm just, 29 again every year.
They say our love won't stand the test. Well, every time I think of Groundhog Day, I always think of that Sonny and Cher song that they play on the radio. That he plays on the radio.
That's right. As the clock ticks over. That's true. What Ada is saying that she thinks energy drinks also contribute to vascular disease. Because
and why did she say that?
She says they speed you up and it's too much for your body to handle.
No, there's no research that backs that up. I've not found any research. Now, I don't think they're healthy, don't get me wrong, but I've not found any research that says that energy drinks contribute to coronary vascular disease. It may contribute to rhythm problems. Some people will end up with tachycardia or they end up in the emergency room with a really rapid heartbeat. But all they have to do is just stop the energy drinks, or we put them on a beta blocker, and that stops. But it doesn't lead to coronary heart disease. They don't lead to diabetes. They don't lead to an increased risk of autoimmune diseases. I've not seen anything wrong with them except for the fact that they just overstimulate people. So I don't think they lead to heart disease in the sense of plumbing problems, okay? In other words, clogging the arteries. I don't see that. There is a possibility that they could actually bring out an underlying rhythm problem, but again, it would be something that's already there that just hasn't actually been expressed yet. And for those people, the cure is simply stop the energy drinks.
Right.
I'm not saying they're good for you, so please don't anybody misunderstand. I'm not suggesting that.
No, I mean they're not good things to have. I'm sure they don't help with migraines
they're not.
either.
And my patients that have ADHD or ADD that are on stimulant therapy for ADD and ADHD, I have to really warn them away from that, because if they're on methylphenidate or any of the amphetamine-based products for ADHD, the energy drinks can do two things. One, it can really cause them to end up in the emergency room with a really rapid heart rate. But number two, it causes their ADHD medications to not function correctly. They don't work right anymore because the theory is that the ADHD medicines deplete the neurons of the excess neurotransmitters that lead to the inability to stay focused on one thing. That's why they're all over the place, right? Because they can't stay focused on one thing. And so you need to, so if you're up and down with your stimulants, then you're basically not treating your ADHD. So anyway.
Yeah, I think that gosh, with Finian with his sensory processing disorder, I've never been one to drink fizzy drinks anyway, but I literally shudder to think what he would have been like as a kid if he had a can of Coke. I just think he would have been on the sea. Give him a sprig of broccoli and he used to fly around like a bit of phosphorus on water. Just like any food, and he'd be like, da, da, da.
Yeah.
It's like full of energy.
So we have an interesting report here. Beverly Felder says she had her yearly pulmonary function test on Tuesday, 20% improvement, and in our pulmonary function test. Now, I'm presuming she's telling us that because she's switched to a whole food plant-based diet, that her lungs are improving, just like mine did. Mine did too. I no longer need the inhalers, right? Yeah. And as you can tell, I'm able to breathe and talk because I'm just going and going and going here.
And breathe and rant. You can even rant and breathe.
Yeah, that's right. I can even do that. And weight loss added 10 years to her life, the pulmonologist said.
Yeah.
Pulmonologist said that her dietary changes have been 20% improvement in her lung function and added 10 years to her life. Now,
wow.
Do you get that from keto? Can you get that from the keto diet? No. Sure, all the class say no. I can't hear you, right?
No, we can't do that. We can only get that from whole food plant-based. That's incredible. Well done, Bev. That's amazing.
And she congratulated me on 50,000. I think she meant on my main channel that we had 500,000. I think we're almost at 530,000 or something now. I don't know where it is. I haven't looked at it in a while.
Oh, right. I've got, I don't know.
And she quit smoking too, and that helped too. Wonderful.
Brilliant. Absolutely. That's brilliant. You're just going from strength to strength.
And that's a great term, strength. I love that. Where did you get that? Did you invent that?
I did. Yeah.
Strength
just now.
to strength.
From strength to strength. She's just like,
it's
she's
strength.
Like, she's launched, she's left the Earth's atmosphere and she's just going into the stratosphere. It's just amazing to see. Loads of lovelies are actually, but she's just like, there with all her results all the time, and it's just so good because she seems to get, it's cumulative. She's getting a better result on top of a better result. It's just like everything is falling into place. And this is exactly what we said when we started this. You will find, I could list 20 things that would improve. If you got away from, animal products, if you got away from processed foods, and these, it's happening, it's literally everything to do with her health is kind of getting itself back into order again. You know, and she's added 10 years to her life. I mean, that's just fantastic. Who doesn't want to live 10 more years? I do. I definitely do.
Well, maybe 10 more years, but how about this? How about if you didn't live more years, but the years you lived were much healthier and you didn't have to take a bunch of pills, and maybe now Beverly's not going to have oxygen for her last 5 years of her life.
Yeah.
Maybe her medical expenses will be a lot cheaper, and she won't have to spend her last 5 years of her life going from doctor to doctor because she's got coronary disease and lung disease and diabetes. Oh. Maybe she doesn't have to just spend all her time waiting in the waiting room for doctors.
All that free time she'll have. And all that all that free time she'll have, and all that extra cash with all those extra years. She'll be able to go and do stuff that's exciting, travel about, see places. That'd just be absolutely fantastic, and enjoy it as well. It can't be
and
much.
She says Meta 7 made her life better.
Yay!
Gotta get that Meta 7 plug
Time
in
for an
there.
advert.
Yes. Oh, and I got to thank everybody. The Meta 7 sales have been really good. I just had to place another huge order because we're running out again. Thank you all very much for your support. And I know I get a lot of grief online that we advertise too much, but there are a lot of people out there whose lives have been so improved by Meta 7. I'm not going to stop telling people about it.
No.
Okay. If I can make a fun video and something, and people are going to watch and they're going to gripe, maybe if they see enough of them, they'll try it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, that's that's total immersion. Total immersion. Hi to all of you who've been on since I've said hello. Ada was saying that her doctor told her 2 things increase your, I think it's triglycerides.
Triglycerides, yeah.
Sweets and alcohol.
Sugars, alcohol, absolutely. And one more thing.
Animal products.
Fat. And fat, right?
Fat.
Okay, so when you eat, let's say you eat a baked potato, I don't know how much fat is in a potato. There's probably not much, but there's some.
Yeah.
So that actually does increase your triglycerides. And all plants are going, in fact, when we look at our menu that we're going to go over here in just a little bit, you'll see that, as you all have recognized that have looked at the menus, I put in the protein, I put in the fat, and I put in the dietary fiber. Those are all important things to look at, right? Because you need plenty of, so when you're not eating animal products, you still need to get fats because some fat is essential. There are essential fats, and we don't see a lot of deficiencies in essential fatty acids in America. I promise you. We just don't see that. And we don't see protein deficiency for the most part either. In fact, one day I'm sure it'll happen. It hasn't happened yet in 25 years of medicine practice. So,
well, that's pretty amazing since most people suffering from obesity are actually suffering from malnutrition at the same time. They are.
And you'd be so surprised to see the people that come in that are so obese, and I check their vitamin levels and they're just in the cellar. And that just tells me that they're hungry. Part of what's their bodies are crying for the nutrition, and they're eating themselves to death while it's happening. It's just amazing. I get these vitamin D levels that are, like Chrissy's vitamin D level was so low. These vitamin D levels that are so low, and they're depressed. And so I got to get their vitamin D levels up, and their nutrition status is terrible. But you're absolutely right. You're right.
They're malnourished. What they're eating doesn't have enough live nutrients in it to feed them, which is why they're hungry all the time, which is why they eat all the time.
And stress. Some people eat for stress, and convenience. We eat these, and plus we want to, people, when we eat, we want to feel like we've eaten something. So we get this hunger signal that we're hungry and we eat. And we don't get the signal until our stomachs are somewhat full. If you fill that stomach up with animal-based products, then you're getting way too much highly concentrated calories in there. And so that leads to obesity, right? Yeah. But when you fill it with plant-based products, you don't get as many calories. And as a result, you're less likely to be obese. It's really hard to find overweight or obese vegans. Yeah. Why? Because you get full and you don't fill up with 3,000 calories. You fill up on 600 calories maybe, right? Wait till you see the menu today. It's really amazing to see how much food you're going to have to eat to try to make your calorie goal. I mean, to eat everything on this thing is going to be, it's going to be tough because there's a lot of food, but it's only around 1,500 calories. I think we ended up in a day. Now, for some of you, that's probably more than you need, but for me, that's a little bit less than I usually need. So, because I'm a bigger person, right? So I'm going to need a little bit more calories. So, but if I were to eat to where I felt like, I've had a meal, but I did it at a Mexican food restaurant and I'm having enchiladas loaded with cheese and beef and all that kind of stuff, I can put away 4,000 calories. Okay.
Oh gosh, easily.
Easily. I can put away 4,000 calories, yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, I mean, that's no problem at all with that kind of food. But you can't put away 4,000 calories if you're eating a whole food plant-based diet. You can't sit down and eat that much.
No, you literally couldn't fit it in.
It would be coming out your nose.
Yeah. In fact, we've got a place, what's it called now? I think it's like a carvery type place, where you go and you have they have like all different roast meats, and then they have all the trimmings and all the potatoes and all the vegetables, and they had a dessert And it was in all the newspapers about that they shouldn't be allowed to serve it. And I think the government's intervened to say they can't serve it. But it's like a sundae, like a dessert, it'll have ice cream and, squirty sauce and probably some horrible raspberries, that aren't really very fresh and, custardy. So it's like a Knickerbocker Glory. Do you have those? Knickerbocker Glory?
No,
it's like jelly and biscuity things and brownies and cream and whipped cream and custard and, all sorts, chocolates. It's like a layered thing just full of utter nonsense. And this one dessert on this menu was 2,500 calories.
Sure.
And people were eating that after they'd already eaten a giant meal and, had a couple of drinks to start with. The kids would have some Coca-Cola or whatever, and then it's just like that they should have a warning on it or something, because it's just like people don't realise, because it's not that big. It's not, it's a giant thing. It's just that it is just so much sugar, disguised sugar and stuff in it.
Wow.
So yeah, that was just shocking. Although I have to say, when I was in Vegas one time and went to Denny's, and I was all on a health kick, I was on one of my other new health kicks or whatever at the time. And I thought, right, okay, let's isn't that good? They've got all the calories for all the food. And I was so horrified at the skinniest, wimpiest little thing on the menu was about 800 calories. And I was like, oh my goodness me, that's nearly my whole day's intake. And then, then I ended up having the Caesar salad without the dressing on it, asked them to put it on the side, and it was just like, yeah, so that was quite shocking. And then it just made me think, God, it must be the same in all the restaurants, But you just don't think when you go out to eat, and you're not even particularly going for some, amazing Michelin star chefs that are all very rich, food. It's just anything really, because they put so much nonsense on it.
Right. Well, ready to get into the menu.
Okie doke.
Are you ready or
Thanks,
or
Joy. Hello, Joy. She loves the conversation, she's saying.
Rita
Toby
just came
Carvery.
on.
That was it. It's the Toby Carvery. What a lections.
Carvery, I see.
A carvery. Where somebody carves the meat, puts it on your plate, then you help yourself to everything else. That's what.
Right.
Yeah, it's the Toby Carvery. What are lectins? Lectins. Do you know?
Oh, leptins?
She's got lectins. Lindsay.
Lecithin? Now there's a molecule called lecithin, which is a fat emulsifier.
Oh, lectins, isn't it? It's in ingredients in food. Is that what you're meaning, Lindsay?
Hi, Cindy. Or lichens? Lichens?
Yeah. There's all this. Yeah. It sounds like an ingredient or something.
Is somebody asking what is that? Are they asking?
Yeah, that's what Lindsay's asking that.
I think it's a carb. Let me see what I can find out. Lichens?
She's written lectins, but it might be a typo. I don't know, because, everyone tries to type so quickly.
Okay, lectins.
Lectins.
These are plant proteins.
There we go. We like those then, don't we?
Yeah, those are plant proteins.
Yay!
Yeah.
They're good for us.
They definitely are. Okay.
Right. You're looking forward to the menu.
Here comes breakfast. Breakfast is
This is
up.
the link you can copy, and then you can look at it on another device or whatever, or go to it later, just to let you know. And I've also put it in the comments. In fact, I might be able to
Wait a minute. We're competing with April the giraffe.
April the
giraffe is going into labor.
Oh, how lovely.
That's where the other 2,000 people are who should be joining us today. They're watching April the giraffe.
No, they'll all be rushing off the channel now. I'm sorry, I'm just watching the giraffe.
Go.
Yeah, I saw something about that on Facebook as well.
You know what? It's always, you always hope that these turn out right, but everybody gets so excited, and you see something like that, and you end up with something doesn't go right. You know what I mean? 33,000 people watching online for a giraffe to give birth. Let's hope that we have a healthy baby giraffe, because nature doesn't always do that, right?
No, it doesn't. And of course, nature, it's not in nature, is it? It's in a stable.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what else too. You've seen these videos where they have a birth. Animals give birth, and then the mother turns around and eats the young. Those are horrid too. But that happens sometimes as well in periods of starvation. The mother will eat the young to live, to survive. Okay, so moving right along.
On that happy note there.
I'm just going to put up just the breakfast portion here.
Joy says you look terrific, by the way.
We have a hot breakfast.
Hot breakfast, babies, because it's all snowing over there, isn't it?
I've invented a hot breakfast for you all, and you're going to love it.
Look at you.
This
Gilmore.
has a treat. You get to cook this one.
Oh, lovely.
1/2 cup of cooked steel-cut oats. Now, this is important. Here's what's important. These figures that you're looking at is for the cooked steel-cut oats, not the raw.
Because that will make 3 times the amount.
It's a lot different content, okay?
Yeah.
So you cook it, and then you make enough to where you get a half a cup cooked. So that's probably hard to do. You might end up with a little leftover or some to share.
I'm going to look it up right now.
So a half cup of cooked steel-cut oats gives you 300 calories, 10 grams of protein, 6 grams of fat, and 8 grams of dietary fiber. It's high in iron, thiamine, phosphorus, and magnesium, and then lots of other micronutrients.
Wonderful.
You take that after you've made it. You put a 1/4 cup of raw or 1/4 cup of raisins. I guess some people cook raisins for different things. Add a 1/4 cup of raisins, which will give you another 122 calories, 1 more gram of protein, no fat, and 3 grams of dietary fiber. Adding iron, potassium, copper, manganese, and riboflavin. And then you get to put in 1 tablespoon of brown sugar.
Ooh.
Which has nothing but actually does have some calcium. So no protein, fat, or fiber, but gives you a little bit of calcium. So you get to sweeten it up with a tablespoon of brown sugar. So you get the steel-cut oats, 1/4 cup of raisins, brown sugar, mix that all up, and have yourself a hearty breakfast. Doesn't that sound good?
That sounds absolutely lovely. I love porridge. Elena, I'm going to be using some more of your porridge oats. Hi, Laurie, darling.
Yes, I got Laurie here too. Wonderful.
Yay. Hi, Chrissy. Oh, Chrissy's super sick with the flu again.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, sweetheart. Make my medicine drink. It will make you feel a lot better. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
It is.
Cooked, right.
Seeing lots of flu still. Lots of flu patients. Okay, I'm going to take this one down.
Right, okay. 1/4 cup of uncooked porridge oats equals 1 cup of cooked ones. So there you go. So that's the ratio.
So it's going to be really hard to measure out. Fortunately, oats are very inexpensive. You're just going to end up probably cooking a little bit more than you need to try to.
Well, you can heat it up the next day, can't you? You can put it in the fridge and.
You can, yeah, you sure can.
You just add a little bit more liquid to it, and so it's not like a brick the next day. Yes, I mean those snoqualamine full, or I can't say that word, Elena. I mean those. They're delicious, delicious. I made flapjacks with them vegan flapjacks with them the other day.
All right, I'm
That's
I'm
lovely.
putting the lunch
Go on.
chill. I'm calling
Lunch
it the
chill.
lunch chill.
The lunch chill. That
Because
looks
you're going to chop
delicious.
this up for lunch the night before and put it in the fridge, and you're going to take it with you to lunch, or you're just going to have it for lunch. But this, I believe, will taste best if you chill. I'm going to need a little help with this, okay? Because there's one ingredient on here I don't have a lot of experience with. So we start out with 1 cup of peas. I recommend get the frozen peas and get those out.
Peas
and
are brilliant.
measure out a cup and throw them in a bowl. 117 calories, 8 grams of protein, 1 gram of fat, 7 grams of dietary fiber. Loaded with vitamin A, vitamin K, folate, iron, zinc, and selenium.
And very easy to digest.
Easy to digest, I believe that.
The easiest form of plant protein to digest.
I believe that's right.
Yeah, there you go.
The next one on here, I put 1 cup of diced beets. Now, I'm not sure what the best way to get diced beets are. I don't know if you have to cook them and then dice them up, or if you can get them frozen. I'm not sure how you're going to do beets. I'm not sure how I'm going to do beets yet. I'm thinking you have to cook them. You probably have to cook them and then dice them up. You probably do your week's worth and put them in the fridge and then take a cup out at a time. Or get them pre-frozen. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm learning with you on this. As I was putting this one together, it kind of fit with the other items I thought. And I like beets, but I'm not sure, like if I go to a salad bar and I get beets, I'm not sure how they get them ready to go there.
Right, you mean the beetroot, yeah?
I believe so, yes.
We call it it is beetroot.
So... you think
they're like a root vegetable, and if you buy them fresh, you need to boil them a bit like you boil carrots and everything else until they're soft. And normally in this country, well, actually, they start selling them kind of pre-boiled now for, like that everything's pre-chopped and packed and everything. But before that, they always used to be pickled.
Right. Now, Debs and Bonnie are both saying we can get them canned. So as long as they're canned and they don't add a lot of sodium, that's probably okay. I would just look around and see what you can find with beets, because I think that beets it's a good vegetable. So I'd like to use it and learn more about using beets. But 1 cup of diced beets has 58 calories, 2 grams of protein, no fat, and 4 grams of dietary fiber. Has folate, a good source of folate and manganese.
Excellent. They're so good for you. And what a beautiful colour they are too.
And Beverly says that you'll change your urine to a very lovely color as well.
Really?
And that's always a plus.
I've never noticed that.
Well,
Well, let's we all love a splash of colour in our lives.
So maybe next week or next time we talk, we'd want maybe Debs is saying low sodium canned beets is probably our best option on that. So if you decide you want to use beets,
they're all
or you
saying
can always substitute
here
for something else if you want, that it pretty closely matches the numbers off of a previous menu if you don't want to mess with the beets. But the idea is to try different things and still give people a guide. So I wanted to keep it interesting, so we put beets on here. And we kept from last week onion, half cup raw onion. You want to chop that up, 32 calories, 2 grams of protein, no fat, 3 grams of dietary fiber, sources of thiamine, folate, phosphorus, and calcium. And so leave that on there. We have carrots, 1 cup raw carrots, chop that up, 52 calories, 1 gram protein, no fat, 4 grams dietary fiber. And so altogether for lunch, you'll have 1, 2, 3.5 cups worth of vegetables. I want you to think about that, because that actually is a lot.
It is a lot.
And then to give it a little bit of zip, 2 tablespoons balsamic vinegar. 28 calories, no nothing except a little tiny bit of iron. Tiny iron.
So I'm not laughing at you. Mad just got Madges are trying to lure me into Costco, where I know that I'm just going to let go of all my money and come home with more food than I can store in my house. Sue, I just got a big bag of pre-boiled beetroot from Costco. Every time, Samina, you crack me up, you guys.
So I kind of thought that peas, beets, carrots, and onion chopped up all together in a bowl with 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, stir it all up, chill it overnight, and enjoy that for lunch. I kind of thought that would be a tasty lunch.
That would be very tasty. And you could always shred it as well. You could actually grate the carrot and the beetroot in as well.
I think you could possibly put all of this in a whizzer, in a blender, right? Yeah,
you could whiz it all up. I've been using my new attachment that just slices everything.
Just do a slice it up.
Amazing. Just stuff things into the top and it's like, it's all done. You just chuck it in the frying pan. You've got, it looks like you're a professional Chinese chef in
there you go.
A second. I must video it actually because it's such fun doing it. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
So I called that a lunch chill.
A lunch chill. That would be lovely.
So we had a hot breakfast, a lunch chill, but I'm sticking with the supper stir. I didn't change that.
Supper stir.
Let's get the supper stir ready to come up on here.
Nice.
Just a moment.
I'm just eating white mushrooms with everything. Just everything. They are literally the meat replacement. What they make meat replacement out of. It's just excellent.
All right, here comes the supper stir. This, you're going to see a repeat. We're going to start with quinoa.
Lovely.
Quinoa is your grain.
Yeah.
Now, this is important. Again, you're going to cook the quinoa. You're probably going to want to cook this. You're going to cook this separately in a pot, right? And there's lots of ways of getting it. You can get it where you can microwave it. It comes in a pouch. You can get it where you get the grain itself, and then you put it in with water, and then you cook it.
Like rice.
You microwave it. But here's the important thing. The 2 cups is after it's cooked. Not 2 cups before cooking.
No.
Right?
That would be like a whole saucepan of it.
Yeah, that's what they're much different quantities before cooked or versus after cooked. I wouldn't want anybody to start with 2 cups of just the dry quinoa and then try to cook that up and eat all that, because that would be an enormous amount volume wise. You really would have quinoa coming out your nose. Okay, so 2 cups after cooking quinoa, 444 calories, 16 grams of protein, 8 grams of fat, 10 grams of dietary fiber, a great source of thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, iron, selenium, and manganese.
Manganese.
Excellent.
I'm just going to say 2/3 of a cup of dry quinoa equals 2 cups of cooked quinoa. Okay?
Great.
So if you want to cook it fresh every day, you want 2/3 of a cup of dry quinoa. Okay? And that will give you 2 cups of cooked. Or you can cook up a batch and you can keep it in the fridge for a couple of days.
That's right. I think it'll hold just fine.
Make it easy. Yeah.
All right, and we've added a new thing this time, squash. You can either get the straight neck or the hook neck, curved neck, bowed neck. I don't know what they call it, but they have some with the curved neck on them. I don't know if they have a different name or not.
What are you talking about? Are you back onto fishing tackle again?
No,
hook neck,
some
neck.
squash has a straight neck on it, and some squash is hooked or curved. And they have different names, but the nutrition information is virtually identical.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't think it matters.
They're all much. I didn't know. I've never heard of all this cooked and hooked squash and all of that. I've never. We have butternut squash, which looks like
there you go. This is yellow squash or regular squash.
Excellent. Any of it.
Now, this is what's important. This is 2 cups of squash, you measure it before you cook it.
Right.
So what you'll do is you'll make your quinoa first, throw it in, then once it's cooked, you'll put it in like a saucepan or something, and then you'll put in 2 cups of raw squash. You'll slice it up and you'll throw it in there. That'll give you 48 calories, 2 grams of protein, no fat, and 2 grams of dietary fiber. Good source of magnesium, copper, vitamin K, folate, and vitamin B6.
Fantastic.
And then you will add a 1/4 cup of raw flax seeds.
We love them. Yum, yum.
That is 224 calories, 8 grams of protein, 18 grams of fat, 12 grams of dietary fiber, and that's just 1/4 cup raw. You'll toss that in. Source of folate, B6, vitamin, thiamine, and riboflavin. And then, 1 cup cooked white mushrooms.
Yay!
I would chop them up raw and put them in there, or cook them. As long as you end up with about a cup of cooked mushrooms, 43
Excellent.
calories, 2 grams protein, 1 gram fat, 3 grams dietary fiber. That has your cholecalciferol, also known as vitamin D, choline, which is an important for neurotransmitters, and folate, important for cellular reproduction, and folate and reproduction and mitosis and all that good stuff. So this actually is a very high calorie dinner. So the majority of your calories are going to come with your supper stir, because you can see this is like 700 calorie supper.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
That's 7. Yeah. 15. Yeah. It is. It's a third of the whole calories, isn't it, in that meal?
Almost half, because we have a total of 1,520 calories on the day.
4, 5,
52
6.
grams of protein, 34 grams of fat. It has a little bit less. This menu has a little bit less fat. Okay?
Yeah.
And 56 grams of dietary fiber.
That's incredible. And you can add whatever flavors you want. And if you don't like any of these things, somebody doesn't like peas, use edamame beans. Just swap it for another bee type thing.
Right. And you can always go back and you can look at the other menus if you want to say, well, what's similar to that I liked on the other one? I don't want to mess with this. Now you have 3 menus. We have 3 that we've done, and you can substitute, and you can do your own math, and just make sure that you're getting somewhere around that, you want to be in the 40 to 50 grams of protein, and that's really what we're looking at. And if you see on the very top, your daily multivitamin, essential multivitamin, available at, guess where, Meta7.com.
Meta7.com.
That's right. I got to get my little Metas. Because I know those menus are getting passed around, so I need that extra advertising. Because you don't have to just get Meta7 at Meta7.com. If you need a good multivitamin, we have that. We have vitamin D, we have calcium, and we have lots of stuff. So, are you leaving?
Cool.
Love you. Bye.
Golden fish. Fantastic. Yeah, it's really, really good. And you can put whatever flavors you want. And today, I fried in water for the first time. It kind of just works just the same as oil.
Really? You fried in water? Isn't that called boiling?
Well, no, just like you said, just add a little bit of water and to my wok rather than oil.
Right.
I have to oil the wok, otherwise everything sticks to it. And they go rusty. See, I have to oil the wok and kind of like fire it under the gas, and wipe it all out. And then
I never do. I just put it on and just add a 1/4 cup of water, throw my veggies in, and let it start cooking. And once it starts drying out where stuff starts to stick, I just put another 1/4 cup of water in there and keep stirring.
I did exactly
until everything's cooked.
Yeah,
I just keep adding more water until it's done.
I did that. I did a variation because Madge, although she's going on about Costco a lot, she said that she'd found frozen edamame beans in Tesco's, and I went to my first yoga class
Wow. Okay.
So I'm doing yoga every day I'm just going to do it every day for 3 months, but I'm challenging myself to do 20 in 20 days without missing one. And I'm going to kind of vlog the change in my body, just how, just doing those kind of exercises. I probably won't be able to walk tomorrow. I'll be all stiff because it's really good fun. But the car park is Tesco's is one of our supermarkets. One of our main sort of top 5 supermarkets, and I park in their car park and just nip across the road to the yoga studio. So I went in there to get some things that Finian had run out of, and I thought, oh, Madge said that Tesco had edamame beans, so tonight I've had fresh edamame beans and I've got a packet in my freezer. So I basically, because I bought all these fruits and vegetables when I got my new fridge, so
right.
I was quite concerned. I can't believe it. 2.5 weeks later, and my kale is as green and fresh and non-floppy and bendy. It's just like it was cut yesterday. Oh, the joys of a fridge that actually works. It's just incredible. I had no idea how long food could actually last for in a fridge. Anyway, so I had that with sprout tops.
Oh, boy,
edamame
okay.
beans. Yeah, it was really good. And I put some chia seeds in it. What else did I put in it? Mushrooms. Yeah, that was it. Kale, edamame beans.
Did you pre-cook the edamame beans? Did you pre-cook them?
They were like the ones that you find in salads. They were in a little pot and they were ready to eat.
Okay,
they
weren't
soft and ready
crunchy?
to eat. So I just chucked them straight in.
So they weren't, were they crunchy?
No, they were
Yeah.
cooked. They were kind of
Yeah.
soft but firm.
Okay, sounds like they were pre-cooked.
I think they're pre-cooked. They're
Okay.
ready to toss into salads, and I thought I'll have those. And then I've got the frozen ones, which I'm sure I like frozen peas. I'll have to.
Well, let me just tell you, if you get the frozen ones and they come in the pouch, and it gives you the option to microwave them in that pouch.
Okay.
Because if you don't, you end up with these really hard and they're almost. They're difficult to eat if you don't really get them cooked. You want to really cook them. In fact, the instructions on the pouches that I got were 5 minutes in the microwave, and it was interesting because the pouches, it was the only thing I've ever put in the microwave that says "do not puncture the pouch." So it wants you to, and so when it's done, it's all swollen up.
Like pressure cooking.
I guess the idea is to hold all the moisture in.
Yeah.
The first time I cooked them for the 5 minutes, they were still fairly crunchy. So the next time I cooked them, I did them an extra minute, and that actually made the difference for them being cooked all the way through to where they weren't crunchy like that.
Yeah.
And so they were a lot more like beans. Yeah. I mean, they were more like peas, for example, than something crunchy. So anyway, so just. If it gives you that option, I would definitely take it because I think it's a lot easier than trying to cook them on the stove.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I did that, they just wouldn't cook.
Yeah, because sometimes you just want it to be. And the good thing about stir fries is they're supposed to take minutes to do. Vegetables don't need cooking to death. You can eat them all raw, so they're just slightly softer, and you're getting all the flavour in there. So it really is, very quick to cook. So,
however, those edamames, those soybeans, you trust me on this. You definitely want to pre-cook those before they go in the pan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They were definitely were in the salad area where you can buy pre-shredded everything. They were in that section. So, thanks for the tip.
Okay.
Madge, I would never have gone in there. So, made the present meat with just flour and water and then rinse all starch out. Looked great. Hi Tracy, I don't know what that is. She watched a vlog where a family made their present meat with just flour and water. Then rinse all the starch out. I can't imagine what that is. Sounds a bit weird to me. That does. So yeah, Elena's talking about lots of different recipes. Mushroom jerky. She's got a recipe for that. I bet
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I bet that's really nice actually, because that'll be shredded mushrooms, which will be like
or they could be big portobellos, kind of strips dried out or something.
Yeah, I bet that's absolutely delish. But it's delicious. So
I wonder if you have to put a lot of salt on it, though. I wonder.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It depends how you cook them, really, because if you don't cook them very much, they've got that kind of meaty texture, or they can go a lot. I mean, I've always added loads of whizzed up mushrooms to everything I make for Finian, because the texture of mincemeat, and they make it twice as big, and it's getting the veg in there, and you can't taste them. They just feel like the same as everything else. I'm about to make some more whizzed up things for him.
Well, we had a pretty significant cold snap here on Monday and Tuesday, and we got down to 28 degrees overnight, and we put buckets over my freshly planted tomato plants, but 5 of them died. One of them looks great, and the other 5 just gone.
Oh.
So I replanted. They come in a little container of 6, so I put 6 more in. So now I have 7 plants.
Oh.
So hopefully we're done. It was actually in the 70s today. Very nice today.
Oh my goodness.
Hopefully we've turned the corner, and I'm not going to have to replant that. But I do want to tell you about my upcoming schedule, because we've got spring break next week, and I am not going to be as available.
Okay.
Coming up here. I don't know for the next 3 meeting times. I don't know about the next 2 Sundays.
Okay.
So Abby is going to be off all of next week. We're going to be down at the beach this weekend. I may be able to participate, but I'll probably just be watching you.
Okay.
I don't know, though, for sure, because I don't know if we're going to have internet or not. We're staying, we have friends who have a beach house, and they're going to let us use it for the week while they're gone. So we're going to be down there this weekend, and then I'll be back Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at work, and then back down there Thursday through Sunday again for the rest of spring break. So I'm pretty sure I won't be able to do a menu for next week. So we may want to reuse one of the old ones, or whatever somebody else wants to do a menu, you can, or you can do a menu or whatever.
Yeah, I could do a menu.
But I don't know what my participation level will be for the next 9 days, just because we had the 2 weekends and then the week in the middle.
Yeah.
I will be. I'm pretty sure I'm going to miss Thursday, but I might be on like my phone or something to be able to chat along and listen and type or whatever.
Yeah.
But
maybe we could move it to Wednesday for next week.
We possibly could do that.
Yeah,
we're going to be driving down Wednesday. We're going to leave here as soon as we can Wednesday, probably at 1:00. So I just don't think I'm going to be able to do a menu for next week. So we'll have to reuse one, or you get to pick and choose menus, or you guys are getting smart. You know how to do this now.
Yeah. We can have some suggestions for sure. We can have some suggestions. I can have a look at some menus. Let me have a look at some menus. Or
what I can try to do is I can try to build one for you and just send it to you, and then you can share it if you want. I can try to do that next week before I leave.
If you could, that would be great. I don't know how you're working them out, because you've got all the statistics.
Oh yeah.
So you've got a system going there.
I do,
which is really good. So
I actually kind of like unveiling the menu. I do. I enjoy as I'm putting this together. I kind of think, I wonder what they'll think of this combination. So I thought,
Fantastic.
It's fun. It's creative,
Yes,
sort of like,
it is. It's nice to be creative, isn't it? Well,
are they going to go for the beets and onions together or not? You sort of think,
Oh, be nice. Oh, be nice. You've been very restrained with the old tomatoes and the bell peppers. I bet you're twisting, aren't you? Or are you secretly going off to a little cupboard and just stuffing in some bell peppers?
Let's be perfectly clear here. All right?
Go on.
Just because I've created a menu as a guide doesn't mean that I'm eating everything on that menu. I may be trying out stuff for the next menu.
Yeah.
I have license here.
You do, indeed.
No, I'm definitely going to try. I'm definitely going to be working through some of these because I want to see. I do a lot of it. I don't always do it exactly as the menu says. A lot of times I'll eat what's on there and I'll eat more. I'm not limiting myself either.
No, neither am I.
So if I'm hungry, I eat.
Night, Jackie, sweetheart.
Especially since I continue to do the fasting. I'm fasting today, for example. So,
Yeah, I need to get back to fasting. I haven't been fasting. I need to get back to fasting because I want to see a massive change in everything from me on day 20 with my yoga thing. I want to so I'm kind of getting myself into a new zone here. Right, Tracy said, can I ask a question?
No.
Right. Bad naughty Jack. What's the issue with eggs? This is what her thing is. But
what's the issue with any animal protein?
Yeah, it's still animal protein, and the animal protein is what gives you cholesterol and cardiovascular disease and too many calories, etc.
And insulin resistance.
Yeah, all the things. It's still animal protein. So it's it's like eating beef. It's animal protein. So, if you have eggs are well known for cholesterol. That was one of the things that government health warning and not to eat too many eggs because it could give you high cholesterol. That was, when was that?
That was before the egg producers got together and paid off the government to tell people that eggs were actually really okay.
Yeah, probably. Because this was in the 80s, because I remember my dad.
Yep. Right.
He was just like, eggs were kind of over for him after that. He would just he wouldn't have too many eggs, because of cholesterol. And so that was, I was kind of, I think I was in my 20s. So eggs cause all sorts of stuff. Good night. Madge, I thought, Madge fasted today. Well done, girl. Well done.
Yes. Good,
and I haven't written those sentences for you yet, Madge, either. That was one of the things I was going to do. And then Wink came home he's been band practicing. Edwina Curry, one of our MPs said something about all eggs contain salmonella and the egg industry just about collapsed overnight. And I think she had to resign. And it was a political storm. And will forever be known as the woman who brought the egg industry to its knees. But obviously it didn't last because the egg industry's going from strength to strength. Poor chickens. So there you go. It's animal protein. That's the whole story with that.
Right.
So the other thing is, Jack and I are going to record some videos on specific topics, things that we've talked about, but I know for one, I still can't remember all the facts about diabetes because it's, medicine isn't my forte. And sometimes you went, I'd really like to hear what you said about that again. And it's just like, which of the million videos is it on? And, if it's definitely on this 2-hour video, where is it on the video? So we're going to record some kind of no more than 10-minute videos on different health topics and, you know, some of the things we've talked about. So if there is anything that you want us to do a video on, we're going to talk about diabetes. We're going to talk about fasting. We're going to talk about inflammation. We're going to talk about cardiovascular disease. We'll probably talk about vitamin levels and, you know, things like vitamin D and, you know, all the blood works that you guys all have over there that we don't have over here. So, but if there's anything in particular that you want us to talk about, you know, so that you'll be able to find it and search for it to go back and get the information again if it's information that you haven't remembered, or you meet someone that's got this, or we talked a lot about migraines, for example. I know loads of you suffer from migraines. You know, lots of people that maybe not on here that I talk to, a lot of my lovelies suffer from migraines. And I see a lot of, I've got a migraine today, that's me out for 2 days. So I see it a lot on Facebook, so it's quite prevalent. So we might do one on that. So if there's anything that you don't, you know, that you would like to know more about, we're going to do a series of them over the next sort of week or so, a couple of weeks.
And basically, I think what we're looking to do is we seem to get some of the same questions over and over again, especially when new people come on. And so what we want to be able to do is say, okay, the video that you want to watch is called this, and have a catalog of small topic videos that we'll do in a question and answer format, which will allow us to kind of showcase certain information that would be useful without having to wade through the whole encyclopedia of everything we've created. So we want to make it easy to review certain things, or for new people to be able to find stuff. So that's kind of what we're looking at, and also for you, you know, that those of you that you know that have been through this and maybe you missed a day or something, and you know, you want to know more about something, but you're welcome to ask, you know, make requests and say, look, I'd love you if you would talk about, you know, why do we think that a whole food plant-based diet can cure diabetes? You know, how does that work? Yeah. You know, that's just an example. You know, or we talked about fasting. Why could fasting be helpful? We came up. You know, we did a whole video. We like an hour and a half, and we went through 10 different things. We could shorten that up. We could talk, maybe make 2 videos about, you know, the important health benefits of fasting. So things like that. But what we want is, or what I want is to be able to have time to sit down to prepare it, because I'll want to organize those thoughts. I tend to be kind of scattered because, you know, I'm always, when I'm dealing with my patients during the day, I'm dealing with everything at one time. And so the most important things are what comes up. They're not always everything. So we want to try to make these as complete as possible, but as topic related as they can be.
And they're things that you'll be able to share then, because it's hard to share this video with someone, because especially if you know that they're new to the group, you know, we all know each other now and everything, and you know, there's a lot of kind of chat and banter, and that, you know, it's like, oh, well, if you know, people haven't got an hour and a half to listen to a video to find out a snippet of information. So, you know, if you've got a friend who's got diabetes, you can send them the video and they've got all the information there. And you all know yourself, we've seen the results that, you know, loads of you have had. So, the other thing I just wanted to say, because Tracy, the lovely Tracy Cook I think as much as I love you guys and what you're doing, I need to bow out of this group because I'm not being honest and I'm struggling with dairy side and eggs. Meat's no issue, that's gone. Please don't any of you feel that if you're not fully plant-based whole food that you have to bow out. I'm not fully whole food. I'm still eating processed stuff, okay? You know, please don't feel that if you're not doing everything perfectly that you're not welcome in this group. This is a journey, and it doesn't matter if it takes you, you know, however long it takes you to you know, to to cut those foods out or reduce those foods. Whatever you're doing, the fact that you cut meat out, you're already doing amazing stuff for yourself. And, you know, Sika says she struggles with this too. You know, some people still have the odd bit of meat, or some of them still have, you know, a bit of milk, or, you know, and that's okay. It's everybody's journey is their own journey. I would hate anyone to feel that because they weren't fully on it, that they weren't welcome in this group, or that they feel that they're being disingenuous. You know, it's your life. This is the information, but the community is, we're all helping each other to get more healthy. And as Madge says, Tracy, you can share the health benefits that you've already will be reaping from cutting out meat to the next person that joins this group, who's eating a fully unprocessed, cheesy, meaty diet. Okay? Because, you know, we've had new people. We had the lovely Ada joined us about 5 weeks ago now. She heard one of our chats and she just thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to try this. You know, and she's still coming, you know, she's still on her journey. So it doesn't matter, Tracy, okay? I just like really, really don't feel that you can't belong to a group because you're not following. It's not like,
as long as you know the secret handshake, that's it. There's one thing you have to know the secret handshake, or that's it. But as long as you know that, then you're okay.
Okay. Right? Will you tell me what it is later? Okay, because I might be fraudulently being on this.
Yeah. I'll send you the link. That
shows gosh, I've got to see if I can work a link again to one of these links to things, all these ways you send me things that on Facebook. So I hope, Tracy, excellent. Thank you. I really appreciate your kindness. Do not go. We love you, Tracy. Okay. I would absolutely hate for you not to be here. Robin's just arrived. I think we're kind of almost about finished really for today. So, unless you've got any questions.
I really want to apologize to everybody, but, you know, we all have to take some time off from time to time, and this next week is a really good chance for me to spend time with my family, and, especially, you know, Abby's growing up so fast, and, yes, Madge, the handshake involves a chlorette. Thank you very much. Yeah.
A chlorette.
We're all learning here, okay? I admitted my ignorance about how to make beet cubes. I mean, you know.
That's right.
And we got to have a little fun with it too.
Oh gosh.
You know,
it's got to be fun. If it's not fun, I don't want to do it.
Isn't that the truth?
It is.
Isn't that the truth?
It's got to be fun.
It just really is. And that's what I tell people, you know, that when I go into when I'm practicing medicine, when I go into the exam rooms, I'm looking forward to that encounter, seeing my patients, and they're like, I always feel better when I see you. I say, you know what? Because I love it. I enjoy this. I have fun. And if I couldn't have fun doing this, I promise you, I wouldn't, because this is too much of a headache sometimes.
Yes. I know what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. It is a lot of fun. It is. I mean, we're like a little community here, you know, and I know we all want to help more people. So, you know, this will grow bigger, and there'll be lots of exciting things coming up as well. You know, so it does have to be fun.
We all have our own problems. I mean, I'm an admitted overeater. I eat too much. I admit it. I mean, I've got no reason to hide that. I mean, I've dropped 62 pounds. Obviously, I was 62 pounds too heavy for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And so if you are, you know, if you're not fully committed to being whole food plant based, or you feel like that's not a place you want to go, but you want to be part of the way, or, you know, maybe you want to be, okay, I want to eat fish and I want to eat eggs still, but I can do the rest of it. Okay. You know, you pick where you want to be. but you'll at least be making an informed decision, and you'll be eating with a purpose as opposed to just accidentally eating, and that's what we want to avoid.
Accidentally sucking up a pizza and, falling into a bucket of ice cream and snorting a meringue. I mean, mindless eating, and that's what most people are mindlessly eating. And I know a lot of you are really enjoying being in the kitchen again and just thinking about. In fact, when I was talking to Madge earlier on this week, I think it was this week. What is it, Thursday? Yeah, it was earlier on this week. She was never really interested in food or cooking. It was just like, oh, what shall I have? Have I had any steak this month? I've had no steak this month. Maybe I'll have steak tonight. Then maybe I'll buy that. And because she was totally not interested in food, it was just something she had to go through the process of consuming. But now, like, all her she's a very creative lady, graphic designer, very, very creative and full of ideas and absolutely brilliantly organised. She's just thinking about, I could try this and I could try that, because as we said before, if you're a meat eater, you've got 5 things to choose from,
5?
Is it 5?
I feel like I got cheated. I only had 4.
4.
It was either cow, chicken, pig, or fish. I mean, we used to just joke,
chicken,
which animal is it tonight, honey? Cow, picking, cow, picking, chicken, picking, whatever.
What about lamb? What about
which one is it? I mean, because really that's all we were doing was choosing which animal. I mean, that was it. And it was really boring. But it's not boring anymore. It's actually kind of a challenge.
Yes,
and it's interesting.
It is interesting, and it's really nice to kind of, it's just like once upon a time we were like, I have a headache, which pill do I need to take? And now we're like, I'd like to improve my flexibility. What's good for eyes? What's good for I need more manganese. What fruit or vegetable has got that in it? And you just Google it and you go, oh wow, I love mangoes. I'm just making that up. I'm not saying that's got manganese in it. I'm just saying, I love mangoes. Right, I'm going to have some more of those then, because that will help me.
Right.
It's, well, as they said, let food be thy medicine. Was it Hippocrates that said that?
It very well may have been.
So this is just like, a gazillion, 2,000 years ago, he said, let food be thy medicine. Because,
Well, I think that's one way of looking at it. Another way of